Hi, I'm Dave for General Equipment Company, and today, in this segment, we'll go over some basic questions to ask that will help determine which size hole digger might be best for the project you're dealing with. While not all-inclusive, these questions should help in the decision-making process. With that, let's dig in. For starters, you will need to understand where the holes are going to be dug. These next questions will help you size up the condition of what the hole digging site might be like. First, will there be many obstructions such as rocks and roots that may be encountered? Second, is the soil soft sand or loam? Is the soil made up of heavy clay, or is it hard and compacted in nature? Third, is the terrain relatively flat, or is it sloped such as on a hillside? Based on these questions, consider the following. If a fair number of obstructions will be encountered, if the soil is heavy clay or hard and compacted, it might make sense to use a two-man instead of a one-man hole digger. This choice would help counter the tougher digging conditions and potential kickback caused as a result. This is achieved by the increased horsepower of the two-man machine plus the longer operator handles that help absorb kickback and vibrations. Also, the fact that there would be two operators instead of one will make the job easier, especially if digging a hole on a hillside where greater fatigue is possible. Moving forward, this next set of questions takes into consideration the actual holes that will need to be dug. First off, what size diameter hole will be required? Next, how deep do the holes need to be? Last, but not least, how many holes will need to be dug? Now, by factoring in the answers to previous questions about the condition of the digging site, you can further refine your choices. So, if the soil conditions fall into the softer sand and loam category, and few obstructions would be encountered, a one-man hole digger might be the right choice. It has the horsepower to dig up to an 8-inch diameter hole. Standard augers produce holes up to 30 inches in depth, and, by adding a 15-inch long extension, a 45-inch deep hole can be achieved. With that in mind, depending on the number of holes required and if the person doing the digging can handle it, a one-man unit will probably do the job. Let's look at this area a little further by changing some of the hole digging requirements. If the hole being dug is greater than 8 inches in diameter, a two-man unit will be required regardless of the number of holes required. Whether or not the extra capability is needed, by moving to a two-man hole digger, it allows deeper and larger diameter holes to be dug. Standard, two-man augers can dig holes up to 36 inches deep and up to 18 inches in diameter. If a 15-inch extension is added, holes can be dug down to 51 inches in depth. Additional benefits are that the increase in horsepower, plus having two operators, will allow digging in tougher soil conditions. At the same time, having two operators helps reduce stress and fatigue of those using the machine. Last but not least, here are some questions to ask regarding the operators themselves. First, how big and strong is the person or persons that will be digging the holes? Moving on, do those people have experience using a powered hole digger? And finally, do those people have the skill sets, capacity, and awareness needed to operate the machine? So, let's add these additional considerations into the mix. There is no doubt, digging holes is a physically demanding job. Operators need to have the appropriate body size and strength to counter kickback and other forces generated while digging. In addition, they must be tall enough so that the operator handles of a hole digger are below their armpits. This is true whether an auger or an auger with an extension is attached to the power head with the tip of the auger resting on the ground. Operating a hole digger with operator handles above the armpits is unsafe and should not be attempted under any circumstances. In the end, a one-man hole digger can handle a fair number of digging situations, but when soil conditions, hole diameter and depth, plus operator capability, and some combination, move beyond what a one-man unit and the operator can handle, a two-man unit will be required. If a two-man unit will not meet the requirements, either a more powerful towable unit or a skid-steer-mounted hydraulic hole digging attachment may be necessary. If none of these options are feasible, hiring a professional with the right equipment may be the best option for a given situation. First and foremost, the choice made needs to maximize operator safety, then take into consideration overall efficiency and effectiveness in delivering the project results required. That does it for this segment. If you have questions or need further assistance, please feel free to visit our website at generalequip.com. Give us a call at 800-533-0524 or email us at support@generalequip.com. We are here to make you successful and will be glad to help you in any way possible.